Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leila Mekhdiyeva, and in this video I will share with you my story, my personal experience of working in the fashion magazine and my experience of being a fashion journalist. So if you guys are interested, keep on watching. So if you watched my previous videos, you already know that during my gap year before I started studying journalism here in Europe, I tried to work in the fashion magazine. So in this video, let me explain a little bit more how it was and just, give you some pros and cons when it comes to choosing fashion journalism as your future career. So first of all, my story. I'm trying to be very quick and specific and just give you facts straight away. Let's try to do it. So first of all, I was 19. It was my gap year. When I went to Malaysia, I chose media marketing. I didn't like it. I dropped out of my college and I decided to take a gap year. So basically that was the story. After some time, I got bored and I wanted to try doing something. So I had a friend, I still have that friend, who at that time was working at Harper's Bazaar, and basically she had a lot of friends and acquaintances in this field, and she was like, why won't you try to, work for the fashion magazine? And I was like, okay. Let's try to do it, but I was so skeptical and I was like, nah, probably won't happen. I want it, but I'm just 19 and I don't have a degree, I don't have experience, and that was my first work experience ever. Like, I never ever worked before, so I was like scared and I was like, I don't know, but let's try. So she told the guy who worked at that magazine at that time about me, like, I have a friend, she wants to work with you guys, like for you. And he was like, okay, just tell her to send her CV. So I did. And back then my CV was just like, I'm a blogger, this is my blog. I write, and that's it. Like, I didn't have any experience in this field, but eventually they invited me to the interview, and then there was an interview and they were like, okay, you're going to be an intern for a month and then we'll see how it goes. And I remember that my internship started on April 1st. Yep. And I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And that's how it all began. And after a month of being an intern, and let me tell you, as an intern, I didn't do any cool stuff, okay? I was basically mainly translating interviews from English to Russian, because all fashion people, all of them, they mainly live in the US or Europe, but mainly I think the US. So obviously, fashion world always is about American fashion, American fashionistas, and we were interviewing them and I was translating those interviews, and I was like helping with different articles and doing like really basic and kind of boring job, but I liked it. And that was my first work experience, so I had to come to this office every single day and just be there, do the job. Sometimes it's so boring, sometimes I didn't like it because I'm an artist, I hate being in the office, but like I had to, and I'm glad that I stayed there and I went through it because it was a very beneficial experience for me. So after a month of working there, they were like, okay, we like you, you can now join the family. And a few words about the magazine. I'm not going to name the magazine. At that time it was like very like a startup project, very indie kind of magazine, very creative, and one of a kind of magazine. So that's why I liked it, and I liked it way before I started working there. So I could only dream about working there, because I was like, oh my god, only cool people work there, only cool people read it. It was that magazine. It's kind of like Dazed and Confused and kind of like ID, that kind of vibe, but something local, let's say. So yeah, I couldn't even imagine that one day I will work there. So after a month of working there, so I was an intern for a month, then for another month I was just working there as a journalist, you know, just writing, helping, translating, doing basic job. And then after a month they were like, I remember that it was the beginning of summer, so it was in June, and they were like, okay Leila, now you will be a social editor. And basically what I had to do, I had to go to different events, parties, and then write about it, and take photos. And you guys, I love photography, so I had my camera back then and I was taking photos, so it wasn't like amateur or something, it was definitely like more professional. Like I wasn't just doing shitty job. You know me, I'm a perfectionist. If I do something, I need to be perfect or I'm not going to do it. So yeah, I was doing that and it was so exciting, and I liked that I was like an editor, you know, like yeah, girl grew really fast. So, and after quite some time, I think like it was June, July, when I was like, okay, I really like working here, but I understand that because I'm just 19 and I have zero experience as a journalist, mainly, not just fashion person, because fashion has always been a huge part of my life. Like ever since I was a girl, like little girl, you know, I always loved dressing up, buying something. I always wore hats and bags, you know, like girly girl. Like my behavior was always like tomboyish, but I was always a girly girl, like by my physical appearance. Yeah, so I always loved fashion because for me it's my art. But journalism, I didn't have experience, you know, rather than just having a blog. And yeah, just having passion for journalism, as I said in my video about journalism. So I was like, okay, I need to get my degree in journalism. I want to be a professional. I want people to ask for my opinion, being like, oh Leila, what do you think about this? Should we do this and that? Because it was cool, and I think for a 19-year-old girl that was a really great experience, but I knew that I can do much more than that, but I don't know yet how to do it. So I'm about to go get my degree and then I'll be back. So yeah, I started looking for, you know, universities and everything, and when I finally realized that okay, I'm going to Europe, I'm going to study journalism, and also, I think I chose studying abroad because like I wanted to be a journalist mainly in English. I know that being a journalist is always good for you if you speak different languages, but like I wanted to focus on being English speaking journalist. So therefore, of course, I had to go get my degree abroad and like learn journalism in English, not in Russian or I don't know, Azeri, Kazakh, nope. So yeah, that's why I chose to study abroad. But that's not the thing. Just because I wanted to leave the country and move to Europe, obviously I couldn't stay in that magazine. And yeah, so in September, like the end of September, I left the magazine. But those 6 months that I spent at that fashion magazine, I learned so many things, and I'm so grateful for that experience, and I really loved it, and I still, like, you know, remember everything. There were good things, there were things that were not so good, but still I learned a lot, and you know, it made me definitely stronger and like harder, because I was so shy back then. Like I just faced a lot of my fears. Yeah, so it was fun. Just so you know, heads up, I'm graduating university next summer. Right now it's November 2017. I'll be graduating in summer 2018. So I cannot wait to graduate and, you know, go out there and start working. I still love fashion, as you know, because like my YouTube channel is all about fashion, like lookbooks and everything, so I love it. But I don't know if I want to work in fashion journalism, because after studying journalism, I learned a lot about politics and, you know, art. I like art, so I don't know, I might choose something different, but I definitely want to work as a journalist. But in this video, I will share with you pros and cons of being a fashion journalist. So now let's move to pros. So first point that I have is that it's perfect for you if you love fashion. Like I personally, as I said, I always was interested in fashion, and I think if you just like journalism and you, especially if you're a girl, you know, I think society expects you to be interested in fashion, beauty, and those girly things. Well, it's not girly, but you get it, right? I'm talking about stereotypes that people have. Like if you're a girl, if you study journalism, people kind of expect you not to choose politics because it's dangerous sometimes, especially it depends on where you're working as a journalist and what sort of journalism you're doing. I mean, what happened to Swedish journalists lately, it's just, you know, it's dangerous. And so that's why, like my parents, for example, they're like, I think you should do fashion journalism, don't do political journalism. So people just expect you to choose something girly. And I don't mind, because, you know, I love fashion. But then, like, if you don't like fashion, don't choose fashion journalism. But if you love fashion and you like journalism as well, writing, then definitely it's perfect for you, because it's all about fashion, my darling. Another pro is that it's all about multitasking, and I think it's great, especially if you are young and you don't know yet what exactly you like. What if you don't want to be a fashion journalist? What if you want to be a stylist? What if you want to be a designer? And by working in the fashion magazine, you can actually switch, you know, positions. You can be social editor, then become fashion editor, or be stylist and then discover passion for writing. You know, something like that. I think that is good, and you don't have to stick to one position only. It's a very inspirational job. You meet so many different people, you hear all these stories, and you see all this like latest fashion news, trends and shows, and it definitely inspires you, especially if you like fashion, you know, just working there and seeing everything first, knowing everything first, and like writing about it, telling the world about it. It's very inspirational. So in a way, you're just the source of fashion news. Another point is that it's very educational. As I said, you get to know a lot of new people, new trends and everything. And I personally, from my own experience, I have learned so much for those 6 months that I spent in that fashion magazine, and I can only imagine how much you learn when you work for years, you know, in this field of journalism. You definitely learn a lot, and I think journalism in general is all about practice, but fashion journalism is more about practice, because fashion always evolves, and like there are new trends, you know, new people, new faces, new models, new designers, like everything is changing, new editors-in-chief, and it's great, and you learn way more by working there than just, I think, by just studying fashion journalism. And as I said, it's all about multitasking and new faces, therefore it's all about connections for your future projects. Because if you one day wake up and realize you don't want to be a fashion journalist anymore, and you're like, okay, I can't do it anymore, but I think I'm about to launch my own fashion brand, or I want to be a personal shopper or personal stylist, then by working in the fashion world, you already have all those connections. And also, you know, that friend of mine who used to work at Harper's Bazaar, now she's a PR manager of one high fashion brand, and I'm so proud of her. Like, honestly, I think I will publish my interview, like my story about her, so I'll keep you guys updated, because she's so inspiring, she's so great. So the reason why I'm telling you about her is that she used to work with one British fashion stylist who eventually became editor-in-chief of Vogue UK, okay? Edward Enninful. How crazy is that? So I'm telling you, it's all about connections for your future projects. You can always become someone. You can start as stylist and then, you know, you never know. And last pro, but definitely, like, there are a lot of pros of working in the fashion journalism, but those that I remember, you know, I came up with all these pros, but definitely there are more points that you guys can add and share if you want in the comments down below. But last one from me for today is that it's very creative. Whatever you do, like if you're just translating interviews from one language to another, if you're writing articles, if you are organizing photo shoots, oh my god, photo shoots, that's the reason why you should choose fashion journalism. Whatever you're doing, it's always very creative. It's inspiring and it's creative. You can always come up with crazy ideas and people will be like, okay, you can try it, we'll see. And I think that is so good because fashion journalism definitely has a room for your imagination and your creativity. And if you're like that, if you love changes, if you love something unusual, you know, in fashion journalism, you can try it, honey boo boo, and you should definitely go for it. Okay, now let's talk about cons. And yes, everywhere we have pros and we have cons, and it's up to you to decide what you prefer. Like, you always need to know both sides of the story in order to understand if you like it or not. So this is my personal opinion and my personal point of view, so you might disagree, but this is what I came up with. So first is snobbish people. I'm a very sensitive girl, but at the same time I'm chill, you know. I prefer people who are very humble and real, authentic, you know. They care more about their projects, their work, and those people that really achieved something great and they're really cool, you always get this chill vibe from them, you know, and I appreciate it so much. And I think like those people that take themselves too seriously, oh my god, why do you do that? Chill, relax, enjoy the party. But yeah, I met a lot of snobbish people when I was working in that fashion magazine, because like as I said, I became a social editor, so I had to go to different parties, meet all these people, and unfortunately some of them were really snobbish and that was not cool. But I think because I was working for this magazine, they were nice to me, but in general they were really snobbish. So yeah, if you don't like snobbish people, because I hate them, I'm a bit of a snob, but like I'm more of an intellectual snob, you know. But I'm trying not to be like highbrow intellectual and being like, oh my god, you hate. No, being like, oh my god. No, wait. Highbrow intellectuals don't talk like that. They're like, oh, this is not cool, my darling. You know, I don't like you. Whatever. You know, like just chill. Chill, people, chill. Another point that I have for you is that it's a very competitive field. There's so many people out there that love fashion, and everyone thinks that just fashion world in general is so glamorous and so perfect. And you know, if you are working in the fashion world, it's like all about fashion shows and shit like that. But nope, you don't see how people who work, I won't be talking for like fashion designers and models, but I think it's the same thing. You don't see the work behind the product that you see in the end, because like I worked in fashion magazine and I saw how people would just stay in the office for the whole night before dropping the new issue of the magazine, you know, and how they would be so crazy, so mad, so stressed out, and they had to get their work done and they had to release the magazine, they had to finish on time. It's a lot of stress, it's a lot of hard work, and I saw that from within. Sometimes you need to just stay up all night just to finish your work, and no one cares if you can or cannot, you know, because you have to, you have your deadlines. And that is another con, deadlines. If you need to finish your work by Monday, you just finish your work by Monday. Like, I think journalists, they more than anyone else. They depend on time and on deadlines, and it's not like, oh, I didn't finish on time, I'm so sorry. It doesn't work this way. You have your job, you need to get things done, or you get fired. Another point is that fashion journalism does not seem as real journalism by some journalists, and I have personally met those people that would be like, no, fashion journalism is just, you know, just low-key journalism. If you don't know anything about fashion and you think that fashion is just, you know, girly stuff, as I said, like some people still think that way, you know, and they don't see that fashion is art, fashion is a lot of hard work, it's this business that is very influential and has such a huge power, you know. As someone who was always interested in fashion, and I had eating disorder because of my love for fashion and style, you know, I was like, oh my god, I want to be like those models, I want to look like this, look like that. I can tell you the fashion world controls people's minds. Even if some people won't think of you seriously as a fashion journalist, whatever, you know, I think that might affect you, but you don't let those bitches bring you down. And the last con that I have for you is payment. Sometimes, no, actually most of the times, and I researched that because I was interested if you get paid for being an intern, and nope, unfortunately they don't pay you. From my own research and my own experience, they don't pay you as a fashion intern. I don't know about like political media, you know, like BBC or CNN, if they pay their interns. I don't think so. So I think, yeah, just in general, journalists don't make a lot of money unless you become really a cool person, you know, a cool journalist, and people respect you, and you just, you know, your name becomes a brand that people trust, so obviously then you make a lot of money. But when you just begin, you not only, like as an intern, you don't get paid. Not only that, but also when you start working, your salary is going to be really low, like lower than someone working in the office, like doing banking stuff. But if you have support from your parents, you know, let's be honest, I think that's the only case you can keep doing fashion journalism, is if you have your parents supporting you financially, because otherwise I don't know how you can work so hard as an intern, because like as an intern you do a lot of shit that you are not even supposed to, you know. Sometimes people just use you because you're an intern, you know, just bring me coffee, do that, do this, like I didn't face that, thank God. Like my people were really good with me, like I didn't do shit like that, but I just know that you do that, you bring coffee and all that for free. So I just let you guys know, heads up, that this is a situation in fashion journalism. Okay guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you learned a lot about fashion journalism, because when I was personally last year thinking if I should choose fashion journalism or something else, because you know I'm still studying and I'm not sure if like where I want to work exactly, because after studying journalism for 3 years now and learning a lot about politics, democracy and things like that, I'm more interested in politics, but I still love fashion, you know. I have this channel as a reminder of my passion for fashion. So I don't know what I will choose. We will see. I will keep you guys updated. I will let you guys know once I graduate my university and like what next. I will let you guys know definitely, so stay tuned if you care. But when I was doing my research and I was like, what about fashion journalism? And I was looking for videos like this one where people just talk about their own experience and pros and cons, and I couldn't find anything. I only found what I already saw, Alexa Chung's documentary for Vogue, British Vogue once again. Yeah, and that was it. And then I was like, why would I make such a video, you know, for those of you guys who didn't have any experience in the fashion journalism, and at least I have my own experience, so it might be helpful, you know. So I hope it was really helpful and you guys learned something new. And thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more fashion videos or journalism related videos, then definitely subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And I will see you in my next video. I love you guys. Bye.